Doors. You can't leave home without them. Made with jumbo craft sticks. I'm also going to make a set of double doors and a portcullis using this thicker than average wood shape. I believe I bought them at the dollar store, and this is the last one I have left. I've already cut it in half. I'll be using metric for this project because everybody else is doing it. My doors will be 5 centimeters in height. And I'll just check that against a figure to make sure that the scale is appropriate. Instead of a box cutter, I'm going to cut them with a good pair of scissors. I should mention that I've had these scissors for over 20 years, and they've cut through everything. They really haven't gotten dull. I think I've sharpened them once. I sand the base of the doors to get them as flat as possible. This will give the glue a better chance to hold. I'm going to use leftover parts of the popsicle sticks as bases for these doors, so I just need to figure out how wide they are. I take the leftover popsicle sticks from when I cut the doors, and I measure out the bases. I worked out that I can get 2 regular door bases and 1 wide door base out of each popsicle stick. This is great. I'm going to make 4 doors, a portcullis, and a double door. Actually, what if I made one of the doors a secret door? Oh, be sure to save that last little bit at the end. We're going to use them in the next project. I base coat all the wooden doors in brown. After the first coat of brown, I apply a second coat, and while it's still wet, I brush in some golden brown. You don't have to blend it in neatly. This is going to create a wood grain effect. This is called wet blending. Using a mixture of deep gray and brown, I'm going to paint in the lines that define the planks. Using the same mixture, I'm going to paint in a door pull. That's basically, I'm going to paint a circle with a hoop coming out of the bottom of it. I'm going to do this about 2 centimeters from the base. Using some dark gray, I'm going to highlight the handles and the hoops. And with gray, I'm going to add a highlight to the top of the pole and the hoop. I'm going to use a stippling technique on the hoops to give them a little texture. I almost forgot about the support beams. I'm painting those in with some deep gray and brown mixed together. I guess I'll just have to paint around the hoops. I also highlight the beams with dark gray. With some deep gray, I paint some rivets on the support beams, 1 per board. And then highlight the rivets with gray. And that's it for the wood doors at the moment. Now for the secret door and the portcullis. Both of them get based in black. Using some deep gray, I paint a band around the edge of the portcullis piece. I also paint in some bars. Using dark gray, I paint in the stones around the portcullis. I also highlight the bars with a stippling technique, again for texture. This is too gray. It needs some color. With 3 parts gray, 1 part golden brown, we're going to highlight the stonework. Again, using the scribble technique. On the secret door, I painted the border and an ajar door with deep gray. Then I used dark gray for the stonework on the door and the border. And once again, I highlight the stones with 3 parts gray and 1 part golden brown. Now we're going to tint that door to make it look like it's actually open and recessed into the darkness. With 1 part black paint, 1 part PVA glue, and about 10 parts water, we're going to make a very thin mixture that we're going to use to tint that door. Just leave a thin layer, don't let it puddle up. When it dries, it'll get darker. Once the first layer is dry, we're going to hit it again, but we're going to keep our stroke towards the innermost part of the door, where it's going to be darkest. Remember those bases I cut out? I sure do. Now, the base coat is a mix of deep gray and golden brown. The stone detail is being painted with 3 parts dark gray, 1 part golden brown. And I squiggle highlight the stones with a 1-to-1 mix of gray and golden brown. I glue the doors to their respective stands, and then I give them a coat of gloss Mod Podge, followed by a coat of matte Mod Podge. The gloss Mod Podge provides strength and enriches the colors, but we want a matte finish, so we'll go over it with some matte Mod Podge. I suggest you watch the end of the street tiles episode. I demonstrate the difference better there. There's a side-by-side comparison. And there we are, a nice set of doors. A friend of mine described my painting technique as stagecraft, as in, these are the sort of things you would see on stage. I don't disagree. I still like it. So does he. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Also, join us on the Tabletop Crafters Guild on Facebook. I'd love to see what you're making.